Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Michaela and I make adult coloring and diamond painting videos here on this channel. It has been a few weeks since I have done a diamond paint and chat video. I think the last one I did was my 2024 goals video because I've had some other content go up on Mondays. I haven't done a whip and chat in a while, so today I will be working on Moon Girlfriend. Here is the original artwork. This is by Ivy Dollamore, my personal favorite, honestly, artist of all time, and Diamond Art Club. So this is just the piece I am working on, and today I am working on this little section right here, and I'm very excited to kind of catch you guys up on some life stuff just because it has been a bit. So I hope you guys enjoy this whip and chat, and let's get right on into it. Okay, so I apologize in advance for any throat clearing. My voice decides every time right before I start filming to get groggy, even though, like, it hasn't been this way up until this point. But anyways, so first of all, I am just using my normal Diamond Art Club diamond painting pen. I have used this since I started diamond painting basically a year ago. I am about to hit, and I don't know the exact date off the top of my head, but when I first started diamond painting, honestly, we might be past the 1 year of me diamond painting. I'm not too sure, but this is just the pen I'm using. I got it from Diamond Art Club, and in the single placer, I'm using my good old trusty micro glue dots. I have a whole video on how I load them into my single placer on my channel if you're interested. And then in the multi-placer, I am using Randa's Crafty Corner putty that I literally just replaced last night, so I don't need to replace it again, but anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and start with, I always start with either the black color or whatever color, if it's a 310-less blacklist kit. I will use a dark brown, like the dark brown in the kit to, I'll start with that color. That was a lot to say for that. Also, I love that you guys get like a visual of the little like magic potion bottle. I love that. But anyways, hello guys, how has everybody been? How's everyone been? I feel like it's been a bit. I know it's been a bit since I've done a whip and chat video. Guys, the pop on this putty is so good. I can't believe I had not tried Randa's up until this point, and I already know I will be continuously, not continually, well, maybe, I don't know, purchasing from her in the future. Oh no. Oh no. Although that happens. Might be the drill, I don't know. But anyways, how has everybody been? I have been good. I have just been, I feel like, posting videos, like, not, like, Diamond Paint and Chat videos instead of, you know, the Diamond Paint and Chat on Mondays, which is why we haven't had one in a little bit. But that being said, I am very excited that I am able to film this for you guys, and we can just chat because I feel like I have a lot to catch you guys up on. I have a lot, yet nothing at the same time. So there's that. But last night I did something really fun. Not my first time I've done this, but I performed the national anthem at the Milwaukee Wave game. So the Milwaukee Wave is like the Milwaukee's, oh my god, I'm having trouble, is like Milwaukee's, like, I don't think they're fully professional soccer team. I really don't think it's like fully professional, but it is, it's professional, but like, I feel like there are different rankings of like professional when it comes to sports, if you guys know what I mean. I don't think we have a professional soccer team. I don't know, maybe it is, maybe I'm totally wrong. But regardless, I sang the national anthem last night at that game, which was, it's always a good time performing the national anthem. I've done it on numerous occasions. I know there was a whip and chat where I had talked about, I'm trying to figure out if it's worth doing like this top row. Ugh, I don't know. I had done a whip and chat a while ago, and I had auditioned for performing at a Bucks game. And unfortunately, I never heard back on that one. A lot of people auditioned for those, and it's not shocking that I didn't end up hearing anything. A little disheartening for sure, but I don't think I ever kept you guys posted on that. So yeah, the Bucks did not happen, but I did do the Wave, and I've done the Wave for the last 3 years in a row. I've done their last 3 seasons. I have performed the anthem at least well, once per season. The first time I did it ever, I believe it was like their last home game of the season. And then actually the next year was the very first game of their home season, which is kind of funny. And then this time around, it was like just like mid-season, you know. But yeah, no, I had a good time. Went with my parents. My parents are always really supportive of me and that, so that was really fun. And to top it off, it was my mom's birthday yesterday, which is always fun. So after the game, my parents came back to my apartment, because we ended up getting cousin subs. If you guys are new to my channel, you might not know what that is, but I've talked about it plenty of times, I feel like, at least in like older vlogs. I remember I used to talk about it all the time when I lived at my parents' house. Basically, it's a very yummy sub place that I'm pretty sure is like only in Wisconsin. I don't know if they have any Illinois locations. They might have a couple Illinois locations, but it is a mostly Wisconsin sub chain. So good. In my opinion, one of the best sub places ever. So we got subs for dinner. We ate it at my house. And then, yeah, my parents went home. So that was kind of my night last night. And it was a very fun time. Performing the anthem. Oh my god. I feel like I don't have this much problem with the drills like sticking on the putty, but why is it when I'm recording it decides to be a butt? Oh my goodness. Oh, you guys. I don't even know. I feel like if you're anything, well, I do this sometimes. I do this most of the time. If you're anything like me most of the time, I don't even really watch Whippin' Chats. I'm usually doing it for background noise. However, on occasion I do watch it, so I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if doing this top row is worth, I don't know. I never know what to do. Actually, all right, you guys are getting the full thing here. I'm gonna try taking off this piece of release paper and making it a little bit more lined up. Oh, there we go. That's way better. Okay, now I'm not even focusing on that row. You guys probably had no idea what I was even doing anyways, but that is all that to say that I performed the national anthem last night at the Wave game. Moving right along, you guys, this week we had 2 different snowstorms. I guess last week, when I'm posting this, we had 2 really crazy snowstorms. So let's go back to Tuesday. Tuesday, I don't think really turned out as bad as they were first anticipating it being. My area specifically got a lot more rain than snow, especially at the very beginning of the day. I think they definitely thought we were going to get more snow. So Tuesday wasn't like too awful. Didn't get as much, but come Friday was pretty brutal. And we got a fair amount of snow, but I ended up losing, it's so weird. This is so weird, you guys. My apartment complex ended up losing power, but it was very, very weird because not my entire complex lost the full power. I think some apartments were fully out. My apartment though, and I know some others too, because if you walk outside in the hallways, there are lights outside of each apartment, and like half of them were lit, half of them were not. My power was working to like half capacity. It was really, really bizarre. Yeah, it was really bizarre. Like, I was able to like turn on lights, but I would like flip the switch up and it would take like 3 seconds, like 3 full seconds to even load on lights. And then I tried using my microwave and my microwave was just not being as loud as it normally is. So I just decided to be like, okay, I'm not going to use the microwave because I don't trust that it's actually cooking my food. But yeah, it was just, it was a really crazy Friday. And then, I ended up plugging in my phone into the charger, because I was getting some power. So I decided to plug it in and make use of the power I did have, and charge my phone. And then I took a nap for 2.5 hours on Friday. And then by the time I woke up, it was like 4 o'clock and, power had been restored and that was good. So we were all good. Although I don't think the heat actually turned back on. So I'm pretty sure I slept without my heat on Friday night, but I didn't really realize. because in the morning my complex called us and was like, hey, just so you guys know, like the heat is up and running now. We had to call someone this morning. So I'm glad they were obviously on top of it. I would have realized eventually, but I just didn't fully realize when it was happening. I guess I just assumed it was back on and running, but yeah, and now going into this week here in Wisconsin, we are hitting like frigid temperatures. Like today, I think like today through Tuesday is like wind chill warning, so like it can get as low as like, I don't know, negative 30 degrees with wind chill in Fahrenheit, which is freezing. And yeah, very, very cold. It's Wisconsin. This doesn't even really shock me in the slightest. This is Wisconsin. That's all I have to say about it. This is where I live. I can't even. It just is what it is. But I'm obviously not looking forward to the freezing cold, but like luckily my car is in a heated garage. I can't complain about that. Like I didn't even have to wipe off any snow off my car, which bless. I did not like doing that in high school when I lived at my parents' or college when I was living at a different apartment complex in my college town. That's not coming off. Had to wipe off my car because, you know, I didn't have nicer parking. I had a parking spot, but, you know, you guys know what I mean. But all that to say, it's supposed to be really cold the next few days, which is unfortunate. But again, I live here and I deal with this every year. It shouldn't nearly come as like a shock, but it does every time. I'm like, we're really having this kind of weather again. I'm like, Michaela, you literally live in Wisconsin. Like, why are you surprised? And then I always tell myself that March, okay, no, let me go back a little bit. January, February are just the worst months of the year. Okay, that is just a fact. Like, I feel like no one can argue the fact that January, February in Wisconsin are the worst. But then I try to convince myself that March, it gets a little bit better, even though we've had snowstorms in March, right? Like, it's not unheard of because it's still winter, okay? Michaela, you live in Wisconsin. And then I think to myself in April, things must be better in April, right? Usually they're okay-ish. Oh no, I also just realized that my iPad is covering all my drills, and I don't know. Okay, found it. Yeah, so I'm always like, April's gonna be better. And it usually does get better in April. I feel like once you hit April, you still have a chance for kind of crap to go wrong, but like not as bad, right? And then May. May is like, okay, I think like this might not be true. I know of one time there was a blizzard in Wisconsin in May. If that ever happens again, I will be so annoyed, to be honest. May is my birthday month. May is supposed to be when things get cheery again, okay? But all that to say that I live here and I should just be used to this by now. Yet every single year it seems to come as a utter shock. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like also just like a random side note, I feel like this kit like totally matches like January's mood. I don't know what it is about it, like the purples. It's just such a pretty color palette and such a pretty canvas, to be honest. I freaking adore. I adore this canvas. I adore Ivy Dollamore. I adore Diamond Art Club's rendering. I adore it. So, okay, I need to figure out what color. I guess there's like one of the little like swishy symbols. Do you guys ever, hopefully it'll focus. I don't know why I decided to do this. Do you guys ever come up with names for your symbols? If so, what's like your favorite symbol and it's like name that you came up for it? I really don't have one. I just am curious if you guys do. But that was my little snowstorm rant of the afternoon. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Oh no, I marked up the wrong thing on my iPad. Okay. Now I need to find another color. I guess we'll go with this one. I don't know. So I don't know if, I was gonna say, I don't know if you guys remember, this was like a week ago. If you guys watched my goals video, I mentioned that, my plan for the new year, at least I'm like almost certain I mentioned it in the video. My goal for the new year is to, watch/rewatch all of the Walt Disney animated films and because there's a podcast that I've really wanted to listen to, and I have listened to a few episodes in the past, like last year, and but I was realizing while listening to that podcast initially that basically on that podcast they talk about the history of the film that they're speaking of. They talk about their experience with the film, all that stuff. But I was realizing that, like, okay, if I haven't seen this film, this really doesn't make any sense. And also, like, even if it's been a while since I've seen the film, it's also equally not making as much sense. So the podcast is called Disordered. It's, they literally talk about every Walt Disney animated film. Very interesting. I wanted to say that I have been so good about wow, you guys totally see the drills. I've been really good about watching the film and listening to the podcast during that next week. So far I'm on number 3 because we're on week 3 of the year. The way I kind of like mapped it out in my brain was that that first, I believe, weekend of basically the very end of 2023, beginning of 2024, that's when I wanted to watch the first film and then listen to the podcast during the first week. And so basically the way I'm doing it, ideally, is watching the film on the weekend, you know, obviously when I have time to watch the film, because I don't really have a time during the week to watch movies, but then can listen to the podcast during the week, like when I'm diamond painting or whatnot. So yeah, that's kind of my plan with that. And I have listened to the first 2 episodes of the podcast, the Snow White episode and the Pinocchio episode. Oh no, come on, rude. And I just finished watching Fantasia today. So I will be listening to that podcast maybe tomorrow. We'll see. I have off work tomorrow for Martin Luther King Day, so that is very exciting, since I believe the next major holiday we have off is Memorial Day, which is actually incredibly depressing. Oh, that's so far out into the future. But yeah, so I definitely want to listen to the Fantasia episode of the podcast. I'm going to be so honest. I could really appreciate everything Fantasia had to offer. I thought it was really interesting, you know, seeing the music come to life with some of the animations. But y'all, I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion or not. I sincerely thought that the movie was way too long. It was so long. And you know what? Listen, that's what they wanted to do at the time. Great. I don't know, maybe I have the attention span of a squirrel, but it just was way too long in my opinion. But like I said, I enjoyed it. I definitely would look at my phone during parts of it, and obviously that's not ideal because they're basically in Fantasia they have an orchestra playing a bunch of pretty popular orchestral music suites, whatever. And then they play really fun animations behind it. But I don't think I have the attention span for things like that. Oh my goodness, that was really unaligned. Yeah, I just don't have the attention span. I need someone speaking words to me for me to actually be paying attention better. So unfortunately it didn't quite work out, but it was very interesting. I had never seen, or at least it's been years, I don't think I've ever seen Fantasia front to back like that. But however, I do recall as a kid, I was obsessed with Sorcerer Mickey. I had a Sorcerer Mickey, what do you call it? Stuffed animal. That's what you call it, a stuffed animal. And I have no idea where it is now. Probably in the trash somewhere. But but yeah, that is my only memory of Fantasia, is that Mickey sorcerer doll thing, stuffed animal. Yeah, it wasn't my favorite, but I am interested to listen to the podcast and see what they have to say about it. This was probably the movie I was least looking forward to, because I knew that my attention span would probably not hold on very well with this. Again, which is fine. But I can really appreciate all the animation for its time. I mean, that movie came out in 1940, you know, that's kind of incredible what they did. But, Yeah, unfortunately not really my thing. I'm a little bit nervous for whenever we get to Fantasia 2000, but I'm hoping it's a little bit better. And you know what? Now that we're here, I am curious. I'm curious about how long Fantasia 2000 is, because I think if it was maybe more like an hour and a half, hour 15, it would have made more sense. Maybe. Fantasia 2000 is an hour 16. Okay, and it's modern. By modern, I mean it's just a modern update, because it came out in the year 2000. Okay, awesome. Yeah. So I am a little bit nervous to get to Fantasia 2000, but that's not for a while. Also, why did that surprise me that it came out in 2000 when the name is literally Fantasia 2000? Anyways, moving right along, I don't know where I was going with my statement, other than the fact that I have been really enjoying watching the movie, listening to the podcast, and just to top it off, you guys, if you guys have followed me, or if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen that I have been coloring a little bit more. I did a Mystery Disney page. I'm really happy. Yeah, I have been watching more coloring YouTube lately, and I have found that that has been one of the more motivating factors into when I decide to color versus when I don't. I feel like that's me with a lot of my hobbies, is that if I watch a lot of YouTube on it, I'm more likely to do that hobby. I don't really know why that's necessarily a thing, but yeah. So I have been coloring a lot more, and I wanted to tell you guys that because I'm very excited. So I've done 3 pages this month, which is kind of crazy because they were all done yesterday, but not really, because 2 of them I finished yesterday. They were whips, with not a lot to go in either. But yeah, and then I did just another page, the mystery page, yesterday. So I am pretty thrilled about that because of how like little I've been coloring. I'm pretty glad that I did something, but let's see, what are we at? 22 minutes. Okay. Usually I try to keep my whippin' chats to about 30 minutes, usually, mostly because that's when my camera usually dies on me. Not dies, that's not the right word. My camera likes to shut off after 30 minutes of, filming for whatever reason. I don't know why they think you possibly cannot be filming past 30 minutes, you know? But let's see, I texted my friend who I see movies with a lot, and I was like, we have 2 movies on our radar that we want to see. One of them is the new Mean Girls movie, and then the other one is Night Swim, which is like a horror film. And I was like, girl, you want to like go watch a movie Tuesday night? And it's great because usually I have to go into the home office on Tuesdays, but this week it's Wednesday. It's on Wednesdays, so I have to get up early Wednesday, but I can go to the movie because we'll probably get back by like 9:30. It'll be fine. But basically she's like, yeah, I want to go. You pick which movie we go see. So now I don't know which movie we should go see Tuesday. I'm like really intrigued by both. Like I've heard Mean Girls is good and it's like a musical. I think it's based off the Broadway adaptation of Mean Girls, not like the original movie Mean Girls. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. And then Night Swim is like some creepy horror movie, and I don't even know why it intrigues me, but I've seen trailers for it and it seems intriguing. But do I really need nightmares? I don't know. Actually, horror films don't really give me nightmares, I don't think. You know what I really dislike about horror films and just like scary movies in general? I don't really hate the blood and the gore and things like that. That doesn't really bother me. What usually bothers me are jump scares. I hate jump scares with a passion. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really like jump scares. But okay, awesome. So I'm trying to figure out which movie we should go see. I mean, she literally just like, well, I texted her like right before I started filming this, and then she responded saying you can pick. So I don't know, you guys. Let me know in the comments which one you think I'm gonna pick, because I'm gonna be so honest, I have no idea what I'm going to pick. But I'd be very curious to see if you guys could guess before I even know. I'm sure I'll make a decision by tonight so I can get us tickets, but anyways, just trying to think what else. You'd think after like 3 weeks of not really having anything to, or not, after 3 weeks of not filming, not having it, not yet. Oh my god, you guys. I have like, clearly have like a long week brain. Nice. I don't even know where I was going with that. You'd think I'd have more to say after not filming whip and chats for 3 weeks, but I really don't. My life is pretty boring. I'm just trying to think. Usually my life can be pretty well kept up with in my diamond painting vlogs. If you guys are new to my channel and this is like the first video you're seeing from me, every week, I started in December, I have been filming kind of just like my entire week of diamond painting, and I talk about new releases for the week. It's been a very fun series. I've really been enjoying it, and I kind of thought the editing would kill me, but the editing for it actually hasn't been too bad at all. So I've really been enjoying that series, and it's been really fun getting to just like talk about new releases with you guys, and yeah, it's been fun. And Diamond Art Club has been killing it with the releases, so I mean nothing that's surprising there, but I've really been enjoying it, and there definitely will be one this upcoming week, so definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. I think that's it for N. I think I might actually end the video here because I really don't have much else to say, I don't think, and I'd rather just not ramble. So I think that's it for this whip and chat video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below if you're not already, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye guys!